things as needed. So the recording has started. And here we go. So welcome to this presentation. Like I said, I'm Heidi and I'm the Program Director of the MSc Outdoor Education and Outdoor Environmental and Sustainability Education programs here at the University of Edinburgh. A little bit of background, the program's been running for over 45 years and it started as a postgraduate diploma, and for over 20 years it's been a master's degree. It's the world's leading and longest running program in the field and provides a broad base for a professional career in outdoor education, outdoor learning, outdoor environmental education, sustainability education. The professional careers post this program are very wide and diverse. The program is geared towards people who are interested in adventure education, expeditions, personal social development through outdoor experiences, environmental education, and they're ideal for people working and seeking to work in the outdoor learning field, whatever that might include. So just showing you, we have two specific programs here and they're very similar, but they're also very different. And what I've done here is I've highlighted for you the courses that you'll be undertaking, and you'll see the red ones are the same across two programs. So you'll be studying with each other. If you're in either or program, you'll all be in together for those courses. And then the white ones, so social theory and outdoor education, personal and social development and outdoor education, are specifically for the outdoor education students. And then for the outdoor environmental and sustainability education students, you have environmental philosophy, city-based outdoor learning, and education for environmental citizenship. So those are the two main differences in the academic courses in the programs. Alongside the academic program, we have a professional development program, and it's commonly referred to as the PDP. We like acronyms here and we use them as often as possible. As you can see, we've got there for the core courses for the OESE programs, which are the two main programs here that we use. The core practical courses are canoeing on the River Spey in the Cairngorms, navigation and hill skills. Navigation is done here in Edinburgh and the hill skills is done up in the Cairngorms. A 4-week professional practicum placement, which you get to choose to a large degree. We have lots of good relationships with lots of different organisations, and we have a dedicated person that helps you determine what placement you'd like to do. A little bit more about that later in the presentation. There's a 2-day specialist outdoor first aid course, and there's an outdoor education, outdoor environmental and sustainability education in practice course where you get to put your theory into practice through teaching. And outdoor learning practitioner seminars are additional seminars. They sort of fill a gap between theory and practice and are very much about theory and practice. We offer some on leadership, on risk management, facilitation and other, and they change every year depending on the focus of people who are around, people who are available, but also what we think is appropriate for all of you. Just so you know that these core courses are not about technical skills, they go beyond that, and it's really about teaching and theory and practice in a practical sense. And we expect all students fully participate irrespective of your personal experience and qualifications. We don't offer qualifications, so it really is about the teaching and the gaining more skills about being an outdoor leader in that field, in those areas. In addition, the outdoor education students have additional core. They have summer hill walking, they have winter mountaineering and west coast sea kayaking. And I realised I just made an error before. The navigation hill skills that I mentioned before, I'll just go back one. That's actually done here in Edinburgh. What I was referring to in the Cairngorms is the summer hill walking here. There's also some optional extras, and these change every year, so these are examples, and these are things that you enrol on in the first 2 weeks when you arrive. So we have river kayaking, rock climbing, Nordic skiing. Nordic skiing can be weather dependent, snow dependent here in Scotland. And then for the outdoor environmental sustainability group, you have no additional core, but you can do any of the optional core. So local sea kayaking, river kayaking, rock climbing, Nordic skiing, wilderness first aid, summer hill walking, winter mountaineering, west coast sea kayaking. And the others can do wilderness first aid as well. And again, these courses change every year. This year the cohort requested a specific course, and so we put that together for them. That doesn't always happen, it depends if we have time, but this year the students have organised it, so that's something that we support as well in every way we can. So the placement, which I mentioned before, here's a range of agencies that we work with, and I've had some wonderful visits this year with host organisations and students to find out what they're doing, and they really are really different. We have someone at the moment working with the Holyrood Rangers right here outside on our doorstep, and he's having a great experience working with school children. We had also some people working with the Scottish Wildlife Trust and writing policy and programs for the Wildlife Trust. So it really is very diverse. One student went to Thailand this year and did a placement there. So the sky's the limit. Then at the end of the taught program, which is about to come to a conclusion for the students here, we have our final day on the 18th of June this year. Next year it's a little bit earlier just because calendar and Easter and things move around. But the calendar is published on our website, so that's something to look at. It's still in draft, things are still moving, but it will be finalised by the time you arrive. Most things are set in place, specifically the academic courses, but the PDP programs are moving a little bit still. So the dissertation is the last thing you do. This is where you get to focus on something of real interest to you, and watching the students this year, many of them came with a topic but then changed, or came with no topic, but as they've gone through the program, many different ideas have come up, and many of them are now in the position of trying to decide which to focus on. So they all start their dissertation in June when they finish the taught program, and they submit that at the end of November if they're full-time. If you're part-time, things are a little bit different, but for full-time students, that's the range of the time that is done. Here's just some links for the website and also a timetable, but I'm sure ACO is probably going to share some of those things with you. But they're found on the Murray House website where you'll go to apply. And these are just some pictures from this year's cohort out in the Cairngorms doing some teaching. That photo in the middle looks like they're dancing, and I think they might be. And yeah, it's just a wide range of students from all over the world, all different ages. We have some who've come from undergrad directly, some who've come in from other professions, some who have retired and are doing this in their retirement. So there's lots of different people, and I think that makes a really rich cohort. So that's all from me. It's over to you for question time. So if any of you have any questions, please type them in the message where ACO's been putting links and things like that. This is where it gets fun. You all ask questions at once. Okay, so question in relation to the timetable. All of our courses, our academic and professional development courses, they're all block taught. So they're usually taught across 5 days for a 20 credit point academic course, or 2.5 days for a 10 credit course. The only exception is Sources of Knowledge, which is a school-wide course, and that's taught in across 5 sessions over 3 weeks. It can be taken online, that course, if that's your preference, but we recommend you take the class, the tutorial that is dedicated to us as a cohort, because then you can really work with each other to help you through that. So it's all block taught, and there is a link there. If you look up just above your question, it says timetable here at the bottom of the page. And yeah, it still is in a little bit of flux. We thought it was finalised, but it's moving recently. So yeah, so as far as it's not like a regular academic course. So I'll just give you a description. You'll come in September. On the 2nd of September through to the 3rd is induction, and on the Thursday of that week you'll start your first academic course, Interpreting the Landscape, with Professor Pete Higgins, and then you'll have Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of academic content with him, and then the course will be over and you'll be writing your assessment. Soon after that you used to go for a week on the canoe and go canoeing on the Spey, and on the other week you do your navigation skills. And then I think you have a week off maybe or 2, and then there's, for the outdoor education students, there's hill skills, summer hill skills, then there's concept-based practice, and then there's social theory. So there's big blocks, but there's also gaps between. And for the OESE group, there's city-based learning, outdoor environmental philosophy city-based learning, which happens across 2 weekends. So it is all block taught. So you have it's very intense. Once you start, it's you know you're on and you go through, but it's really great because we have some residential courses outside of Edinburgh and some are here in Edinburgh, so you get to know the cohort very well. Stephen. Okay, so Stephen, commitment. The expectation is that you. We have lots of students doing it part-time, so we recommend you start with interpreting the landscape as the first academic course, and this canoeing on the Spey as the first PDP course. Because what that does is it gets you into the community here and gets you really. It's a logical place to start academically, but also gets you to get to know some students. Of course, it's up to you. You don't have to do that, but that's our recommendation. Our other recommendation is that the last course you do is ecology and field studies, because that is the last course in the full-time program. And then in between there, you really can pick and choose which one you do when to fit into with your own commitments with your work. But the expectation is that when the course is on, that you attend all of it. It is a face-to-face course. Like I said, the only one that you could do online, which might help you with sources of knowledge, we also recommend you do that early in your program because it teaches you how to read critically and write, and it really is helpful with your other assignments. And if you have any more questions, you can write back and ask for more detail. There's no exams in this program. It's all essay-based or podcasts, or they're all assessments, so there's no exams. Yes, so ACO's added that you can also extend the part-time beyond the 30-month program if you choose, and do it course by course, and we have a few students on that program as well, so you won't be alone, but it really is then you can choose when you do it. Yeah. Yeah, any other questions, or do you want me to elaborate on anything? Okay, as far as experience goes, we welcome everyone onto the program. Obviously, depending on your experience will change your experience of the practical program. So if you have, so last year on the canoeing program, we had a couple of students who'd never sat in a canoe before, and we had some students who were able to instruct canoeing. And so we draw on this experience and skills of the group, and we support you through that. The week of canoeing is a few day trips, I think a day out on the river learning skills, and then it's the 3-day expedition. And the difficulty of the paddling increases as you go along, so you're able to learn the skills you need for each day and build on those as you go through. And the ratios are quite good. I think it was 1 instructor to 3 boat canoes, so 1 to 6. So you do get very personalised instruction. And we're also looking at not just developing skills so you can travel, but we're looking at how we can engage in with the landscape, how we can learn from the landscape as we travel through it. So it's not just about skills, it is also about learning about this landscape, teaching, and how we might lead in that space as well. Don't apologise for the questions, that's why I'm here. Let's just keep sending them through. No, that's all right. There's another one. Oh, did I miss one? So Ellen, I'm going to answer yours first. Part-time students, how often? Okay, Ellen, I really would need you to look at the timetable link because it really is different. It's usually 5 days for a 20-credit course, and you need to be there for that whole time. So what part-time students often do is they take that time as annual leave if they're working, and would come to Edinburgh and just often get an Airbnb. Once you know some students, you might stay with some students for that time, or if you have friends here. And then you would need to be here for the face-to-face content part, but you can write your assignment from anywhere. And you really need to look at the calendar, especially for part-time students, depending on what you want to do in what order, but definitely interpreting the landscape first, and then finishing with ecology and field studies. Laura, how much equipment do we need? So you really do need your own personal equipment, and we send out prior to the course some information on that, but you need to provide your own rucksack of about 50 to 70 litres for the OE students, the OESC students really only need a day pack. Most of your adventuring is in day packs or equipment provided by us. So for the canoeing, we provide you with dry bags for your equipment for the expedition, but you need to have all your personal stuff, so a rain jacket, rain pants, enough warm clothing to stay warm and dry in the Cairngorms in late in October, and it can be very cold. So yeah, personal clothing, hiking boots, that kind of equipment you need to provide. But we offer, we lend you out tents and stoves and technical equipment, so dry jacket for the canoeing, waterproof, dry bag. What else am I thinking? For winter mountaineering, if you're in the outdoor education program, we have ice axes to lend out. You do need to rent your own boots for winter heels, and that's about £30 for the week. I think it might have been £35 this week, but the local store gives you a discount on that. So yeah, so we provide some, but you need to provide your own personal equipment. Does that answer your question, Laura? Great. And we will send out a list of what we expect you to bring, so that's also helpful. Forest school or kindergarten practice figure in the course. So the course is a very strong theoretical, has a very strong theoretical program focus, and we don't have a really strong focus on forest school as such, but what we do offer is all of our assessments require you, so for example in social theory you're required to choose a social theory and an experience you've had and then interrogate that experience with the social theory. And in concept-based practice, similarly, you'll look at the theory that's presented and you'll have to interrogate and answer some questions around that. And the advantage is you can really focus. So if you have a really strong interest in forest schools, you could almost write all of your assignments in relation to that if you so chose and really went deep into that. But we do, it is included as well. Kindergarten practice, we talk about all different ages and invite you to bring those different groups to the discussions that we have. Yeah, so do we have to sometimes to write dissertation June and November? Okay, good question. Between June and November, we recommend you stay in Edinburgh to write your dissertation. Students who leave often find it difficult to stay focused, and I've had a few this year who've said they wish they did stay. But we can't make you stay, but if you do leave, you do need to complete a leave of absence form, because when you leave Edinburgh for more than a week, the university and the visa system and all of that requires you to complete a leave of absence. Doesn't mean you can't go, it just needs to be a record there. So some students choose to go and some students choose to stay. We do recommend you stay, but we respect if you need to leave. We then will supervise you via Skype and email. Do it. I've done an undergraduate course. Oh.
So I've replied to him to say, to ask if you went to Edinburgh.
Aiko is going to answer that. In relation to fees, I'm not the person to answer your question. Is there a way we can talk to students in the program to find apartments and roommates? Aiko's onto that. I think she's indicating she has an answer to that. Okay, she's also looking for a scholarship link. So there's a Facebook page for current students and past students and incoming students that students run and manage. I'm not sure what it's called. I haven't been let into the inner circle. But
Can I send a link?
Yeah. Do you have a link to their page?
I have a link to the outdoor education Facebook page.
Yeah, that's separate. There's an actual group I've just discovered. I only arrived in Edinburgh in August, so I'm still learning some of these things. But there are students. There's also accommodation services that can assist you with finding a place to stay. But if you don't want to stay in the student halls or the student places, then you'd be very welcome to send me an email, and I could put you in touch with a current student who could then let you know how to access that Facebook group.
And our offer holders will get access to a Facebook group for outdoor education.
Oh, okay. So once you get an offer, you get access to that Facebook group, or you get a link to that. You get sent the information about that. I didn't realise that. There you go. Learned something today. You've already received the offer. I don't know if it's a link, sorry, I think it might be information. Does that come later? Oh, someone's typing. Oh, the scholarship deadline is Friday. So if you're wanting to get access to that, you need to make sure that you apply for that as soon as possible. Oh, so there's an email coming about social media, Facebook and those things. Good question. You've got her on the run now. Are there any more questions? Oh, yep. No more questions. Oh, is there a reading list? So we don't really have a reading list that we give out to students, but what you could do, can they access the course information online? Mm-hmm. So what you can access through the Edinburgh Uni website is the individual course pages that of all the subjects that you study. So for example, social theory and outdoor education. And when you go to there is literature listed that we engage with in each of the courses. So that would be a place to start. We don't require you to buy any books. We leave that up to you. But the university bookshop does have access to the Learning Outside the Classroom textbook, I think. Is that right? That's one that we do say, excuse me, I've just left you. Where is it? Hi. Oh no, I can't find it. That's quite funny because we're rewriting at the moment. I think it's on my desk. Here it is. So this is a book that we recommend. It was written by 3 of the team here, and at the moment the new team of 5 is rewriting it for edition 2. So that's one book that you could look into, and it's a very popular book and very easy to read. It's also in the library. Okay, yeah, there you go. Suggested list of readings is coming. But yeah, looking at those individual courses will give you an idea of where the focus is. Any more questions? Oh, that's a real shame, Ellen. Have a good look at it and see how you go. There is what Aiko mentioned earlier. There is a possibility to do the course part-time over 30 months, but there's also the opportunity. You can only apply for the 30-month course, but once you're on, you can change to the ICL course, which is across 2 to 6 years. So you could do it one course at a time. And so some people have done that where they take their annual leave and do sort of one course each semester until they're done. So maybe have a look into that as an option. You can't apply for it, and there's reasons for that, but you can change once you come onto the program. So that might be helpful to know. So don't count yourself out yet. And if you do, Ellen, have another look at the timetable and you want to email me directly, you're more than welcome to email me and ask any specific questions, and I can answer those to the best of my ability or direct you to someone who can. Okay. Yeah, that's the other pathway. You can start on the PG certificate. Sometimes people do that to get a sense, a bit like you, Ellen, in your case, aren't sure if you're going to be able to commit to the whole program. So you can complete the PG, the postgraduate certificate, and then change course to the postgraduate diploma and or the Masters of Education, Masters of Science. So that's another pathway, and it's a great way to come in and trial the course and see if it's really what you want to do. And some students have started on that and then decided to work less and study more, so because they've had such a good time. So yeah, up to you, but that's another pathway to think about. Thanks, Aiko, for that suggestion. Yeah, my email is heidi.smith@ed.ac.uk. I think Aiko's probably typing it for you. There it is. She's too quick. Yeah, some great questions. So any other questions? yeah, it's really great to have you come along and have such good questions to ask. But yeah, beyond this presentation, if you need to contact me, there's no problem. Okay, well, if it sounds like there's no more questions and people are ready to leave, so if that's the case, last call for questions in this forum. Beyond this, you can, of course, email me. Anyone got a final question? Yeah, really look forward to seeing your applications come in. It's been really nice. I've done a couple of these and it's been really nice to speak with you here and then and then see your applications come in. So yeah, or I've seen some already come in. So yeah, great to see you on here asking more questions, but we will be in touch with more information before you come. So when you're ready to leave, if you want to leave the room, then we know that we can close down the session. Thanks for coming.